Hey, welcome to another monthly studio report for All Is Fair in Dust and Air and for Broken Hammer Games. I am the founder and CEO of the company and project manager, writer, a lot of various things I do. As I say every month, this is a small company right now. But anyways, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022, triple two this year. Yay. Been seeing that quite a bit whenever I check my watch. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right into this month. And we got a few things to talk about here. Welcome to the vlog. So the month of January was actually quite a bit. We had a lot of activity going on in the month of January, especially when it came to the port. We were trying to get the Android port for Dust and Air going. We did release it, so if you go to itch, and there's a link in the blog, and I'll see if I can post a link on this video page, you can find the page where you can get the Android version of the game. I believe included with the Android version, you also get a copy of the PC version and whatever other versions we add to it, so that's good. I mean, if you want all the copies at once, go through itch and support us there. So basically what the port is, it is a straight port of our 1.2 version of the game that we just launched. That was the final release of 2021, was 1.2, and it's pretty much a straight port of that. We did change some stuff like the background image, we had like the little mobile branding. That's what we're going to call the Dust and Air phone version. Tablet version is mobile version because you can take it to go with you now. So that was added. We also added a few menu tweaks for now. It shows like your controls if you're using a touch screen, things like that. There was some Android specific bugs that did get fixed. This was something that we did not really find in the straight PC version. It was when we did the port to Android and we compiled the APK. All of a sudden we would start to do our testing round, and we would find like weird buttons in different parts of the screen, and so we had to like contact Michael. Mike, help! He looked at it. He figured out why we were having these weird things happening. It doesn't happen in the PC version. It's only the Android version. So if something happens when it changes over, however it ports out, there were some issues. We got those all ironed out during the month of, we had a December, and then we had some ones that carried over into January we had to do. A lot of the month of January, though, was dealing with Play Store issues. Now, we're kind of a little bit crude on our response on why we weren't able to get the Play Store release out in January, and so basically it's crude, but it's literally true. Play Store sucks. That's kind of what we're dealing with. And what they did last year on Play Store was they changed how all the apps and everything work. So what you do is you have to upload a 150 megabyte like little base modular thing, and then that modular part of the game has to be, then it shifts to everything else. So you can upload like a massive game, but it has to have that 150 megabyte bit. And the Google Docs tell you, oh yeah, you can get around this 150 megabyte bit if you do this and this, but it doesn't give you an actual guide to do that. Or when it doesn't like link you to the page where it tells you, oh yeah, here's how you do the other. So we kind of tasked Michael with the task of figure out what's going on with the Google Play Store. Why is this such a pain? And he spent most of the month on it and going back and forth, and he still had issues. He could not. He said, got to reach out to Google. Google's going to have to help us. So we did reach out to Google. Haven't heard back yet. It says a thing on there that they're understaffed right now. So it's understaffed. Hopefully they'll be of some help. If not, then we're going to have to push back the Google Play Store version a bit longer. But the plus side means that we're going to go jump right into iOS. So we're just going to probably say the heck with Google Play Store. If it's that much of a problem, we're just going to go right to iOS. Now, we've heard iOS is a bit better in how they handle the apps. And I know iOS does support big apps. All do. They all support these massive apps. And we have a 2 gigabyte file size right now. And there's the engine when we're looking into it, it's not. It trying to split off a 150 megabyte segment of it and then just get it to work in their little bundle thing. I mean, it's not really what the engine does, and it's weird, obscure thing. And it's funny when you go through the documents, and I was pouring through the documents on Google's backend, like, why did they do this? Why did they do this? And it came down to their statistics say people have a 1% more chance of downloading your app if it's under like this little tiny file size. I'm like, so you did something, you made a change to your entire store, which makes everything harder. Everybody has to modularize all this stuff just for 1%. Their whole back end, to be honest, I mean, I poured through it for weeks and weeks in January and December, and it's like a whole bunch of people made it and they didn't remove anything or trim everything. So it's like this person gets this idea, this person gets that idea, and they pull it all together. And so you have these redundant menus at times, or menus like, well, how do I find how to do this? And you have to look up how you find it, and then it's on this menu where it's like literally that should be merged into this menu, and it is such a mess. Such a mess. I did not anticipate Google Play Store to be this messy. It is. I am not impressed with Google. For a big corporation that Google is, it is not impressive. Very disappointed with how their whole back end is. I mean, I worked with Steam so far. We've all dealt with Steam. Steam, there was a learning curve in the beginning, but it was like things were organized in a little bit more intelligent manner on Steam. So props to Steam. If anybody on Steam is listening to this or watching this, yeah, you guys are great. I mean, you provided something that's great for game developers to upload stuff. Google, you guys suck. So that is that. Of course, if anybody is experienced in that thing and would like to give us a hand, definitely please reach out, contact us. We would appreciate it. So moving on to art development, Georgie he finished up one of the big backgrounds, Gwen's room background. Now there's a little black and white line art that you can kind of make out kind of what it looks like. Behind me is the colorized version. I went ahead and said, well, what am I going to do for this month? I might as well do this in Gwen's room. So this is Gwen's room. Behind me, how it all looks. Yeah, there's gonna be a bigger one in a minute. I'm not gonna tease you with just that and just say, no, we're not gonna do the big one. There's a big one coming, just not yet. He also did some work on some of the characters. We got another character model that is on its way through. In fact, I might as well pull up the Photoshop Elements document. One of these days, somebody's going to chime in and say, why are you using Photoshop Elements from 2015? Well, I have not gotten around to getting an updated version, and this works. It does everything I need right now for this type of stuff. So let's go ahead and load that up a second. Alright, so this is one of the character models that, now a lot of these things are further along than what they are now. This is one of them. There's other stuff that got done during the month. I'm just going to show what we have right now that I want to post. And this is, I think we teased a headshot of this guy last year sometime. This is our innkeeper, and he is looking ready. There's going to be another model, another pose, which he's going to be in, but this is pretty much what we're doing here. And then here's our full color Gwen's room. So this is those of you that are Gwen fans, here you go. This is what her room is going to look like in Raven's Prayer. And of course we won't see this in its full glory until once we get Raven's Prayer out, once we start rolling that out. And then lastly, I just want to share in the art area something from Project 2, because Project 2 actually had quite a few updates. We put Ingrid on the task for the month of January with doing our first three heroines of that story. And this is one of them. So this is just a quick little sketch that we did. There's actually a colorized version. I'm going to save that for later. And it turned out really, really well. I mean, we tasked her with it, and we worked with her a bit in January. I did, and going back and forth on ideas. And then when she finished this up, it's just, I mean, she didn't have to do it more than once. She just got it, and he nailed it right in the beginning. It's just so, this character just comes out, and it's not even her finalized art yet. So that is a little bit of our art teaser for the month of January. Now let me pull this up. Also, we had some music updates from Gimmin. Gimmin has begun working on the new tracks for sure for Gwen's story, Raven's Prayer. And he doesn't have a full motif yet, doesn't have a full thing yet, but he did a lot of getting the basics on some of the new theme set, because we're going to be doing a complete new theme song series for Gwen's story. We're not going to be reusing as much from the Cathedral story arc, so we'll see how that's going to work out on the days ahead. We may run some motif teasers, we'll see. I'm going to run that through Gimmin if he wants to go ahead and do that. Again, that's up to him. I mean, he's the guy that's doing the music on that right now. He's standing in for Sean right now because Sean is working. He's busy with a nursing career that kind of got started up last year to help his family out. So I mean, we all have to work. This is just the reality of indie game development, is that people have jobs. They have to pay the bills, and we're getting there, but we're not there yet. So anyways, the month of February, look for some more updates going into the month of February for some of these art assets, and also the iOS and macOS ports. I'm going to be getting on that as soon as possible in the month of February, getting the Apple Xcode and all of their system set up. One thing I do want to know, because we had somebody, I guess one of the fans, that sent in a question on the forums on Steam asking, are you guys going to do achievements? I really like achievements. And this has been, I think it's in one of our Q&A things on the website, but this is one of the things that I've always wanted to do, we've always wanted to do. We want achievements, and we've looked into it. We know Tyranno can do it, so the engine can do it. We can implement it. It's just trying to get it to talk from the game and Steam. So the game and Steam, it's like getting them to talk, getting them to sync. And what we did in the month of January, after that question came up, I went over to Michael, because Michael's been doing so much work for us in the engine, and I said, hey, this is what we'd like to do. Do you think you could figure it out, how to do it? And so he did spend some time messing with it, tweaking it. We are going to have, like, once he resolves kind of how things are potentially going to work and how it's going to communicate with Steam, he thinks he might have to build like a little scripting thing, or like another program that basically reads it and then shoots it to the Steam server. He's looking at a few aspects on how this is going to work. Once he figures that out, then we're going to go ahead and do a test phase. We already got the test app sort of preloaded and ready, but it might be a while before we finally get to that point. We're just got to work this out. And then the other factor is we got to get art assets made for all the achievements. So every achievement you get doesn't have like some weird little standard character. I mean, Muse kind of did that with Guns of Icarus. If you look at their achievements, their old achievements, they had like very basic art images for that, and then later on they expanded and made it look nicer and stuff. We're going to have the estimation right now. I can give you the estimation of how many achievements there's going to be. There's going to be probably about 34 achievements for Cathedral Arc Story. At least that's what we have written up right now, because we did go through and I did look at all the achievements. Okay, let's do this many. So that is kind of a teaser, an advanced teaser, and where we're going with that, when the achievements are going to come. It's going to be depending on maybe probably later in the year, mid-year possible. Well, I'm going to talk with Michael back and forth and seeing how that's going, the progress we're doing on that, if he thinks he's doing faster, and then I got to shoot the achievement things over to somebody to build the actual art images for him. Right now I'm thinking about Winx. So if Winx sees it, I'm thinking about you. You've been out awesome. Really appreciate Winx and all that she has done. She's been a very much a blessing to this project. And if you are looking for artists and such, definitely reach out to us. We will connect you with some of our artists because they will be glad to do other work, and we are not going to say this artist is only going to work for us. We want to make sure our artists get out there, get some notice, and get more jobs, because when you're a starting artist and you're trying to get yourself out there, it's like you need to take a lot of jobs. So we want to help our artists as much as possible. And then lastly, I just want to this was a late idea that was being talked about, probably late in January, because the idea I'm always considering what to do with the DLC. I mean, I've talked about that in last year, a couple times last year. We've been talking about it for a while now. What are we going to do with the DLC? Because there's issues with the Tyrannos engine and how it's all going to link up, how things are going to work. Now, Michael is definitely going to have to be a major key asset into getting the DLC operational if we do the DLC approach. But one other thing that we're looking at, because we want to resolve something for the save file. This is a problem. And the idea that I came up with is like, why don't we do a launcher that when you load it up, it scans the save file, or scans the file currently, and then adds in the attributes or something. Now, this could be a standalone game, or it could be a DLC. This would actually probably work more as a standalone. And if we're going to do this in such a way where it has the least impact on the player, unfortunately, it's like it would be a standalone version. So everything would shift over to a different game. So that means people could buy the standalone version without buying the original game, and then they'd be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So there's a few other things we got to consider for that if we do that. Now, this would also solve some of the issues that we wanted. This would be more closer to the original design, so it's not we're not just updating and raising the price of Destinaire over time. And I do see some advantages of this if we have another game released. Technically, it's going to cost us. I mean, we're going to have to go through the Steam process, and they'll put another $100 in to access another game, and then go through all their little loopholes and all sorts of stuff. So there is some quirks, there is some issues. Michael is going to be looking at this in the coming months, so he's got a bunch of tasks for us, looking at the achievements and looking at the DLC stuff and how we can get this done. So I wish I had better answers for you right now, but that's kind of, we're investigating still. And this actually is one of the major, if he can build a program, build a launcher, and it can read the save file, and it can write in a new save file, or it can write in the new like attributes and stuff from the original game into the new version, then there we go, perfect. And of course, we would have something in place for those that bought the original version. You would maybe get some bonus scenes that regular people that wouldn't buy the original version, they wouldn't get those scenes. So we will have something in place for that. I know if that's what way we're going to do it, we'll do it like that. Otherwise, his work in this and trying to figure out how this is going to work may also help us do the DLC too. So he's going to be doing a lot of exploration work for us. Hopefully we're going to have some updates on that in the months to come. So anyways, that is it for this month. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for sitting through this. I hope if you are a current backer player of All Is Fair and Destinaire, hopefully you enjoy these little updates, and these are helpful to know that we are continuing progress. We are moving on in development. We are not going to let this project just suddenly hang and just toss it to the side. That's not our plan. This is long term, and we are going to continue to persist long term, especially into 2022 and beyond. So, alright, thanks you for joining, and I'll see you in the skies. Jenny.